Hello and welcome back to Strong Woman High's Life is a Mishmash. Today we have a very special guest, Andrea Seed. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Would you like to give us a little elevator pitch? Imagine we just met you in an elevator, a bit about yourself, what do you do, who you are, all that jazz.
Well, I'd like to start out with saying I'm quite an awkward person, so this could get quite weird. So I'm Andrea, obviously. I am a part-time strong woman, full-time working for Lancashire County Council in a really standard, average job in adult social care. That's what pays the bills.
Nice.
I live in rural Lancashire. People like to say I live in Preston. I deny that. Don't live in Preston. And I've got a little boy who just turned 6 on Boxing Day.
Ooh,
And
happy birthday.
I train out of my little chaos gym. Say it's my little gym. There isn't another one near me, so I go that one because it's easiest for me. And that's pretty much me.
Nice. You are chaos through and through, aren't you? You're also the athlete manager at a lot of those competitions. Chaos. Very important job.
I've got a pink sparkly clipboard and I can put stickers on it. And I get to yell at people.
I feel like you should smash people with that pink sparkly clipboard whenever they misbehave and just quick knock on the head.
I'm not going to lie.
No, you do get pushed to your limits as athlete manager. I've seen it, but you're very good at tolerating a lot of people.
Because for those people that test me, 90% of people are someone that wants somebody to comfort them and let them know that it's all right and just do as I say and you'll be fine.
You are a bit of a mum, aren't you? Strongman mum.
I am the mum. They call me the mum, Jim. Yeah.
And when did you start training? Because we started about a similar time, didn't we?
We did. So like a lot of women, I used to always go to the gym, but it was like just to stay thin, you know. Cardio 3 times a day, 2 kilo dumbbells, living my best life. But I just don't know. I'm not that kind of person. As I've already said, I'm a bit weird and awkward, and I'm not like a glam person. I'm not about wearing tight clothes in the gym, and I just felt like I needed something different. And then when I was pregnant with my little boy Seth, I was like, I just want to do something different with exercise because I always liked exercise, but I wanted to do something different. And then I had postnatal depression after Seth was born, and I was like, I need to find a way to build my resilience, but I didn't know how to be strong in ways other than my mental health, which wasn't very strong. And then my friend told me about this gym in Preston, which I'd never even heard of. And I went down there, and as I sort of started ticking away, trying to make my body strong, it sort of then followed through that I felt more resilient overall.
Yeah.
So it was good for me in that way. And then obviously we had lockdown, so that sort of stopped.
got right on track. Back to square one.
On track, and then boom, off you go.
Perfect timing.
That's when I finally got this really exciting 140 deadlift. And I was like, woo, I've worked all year for this. Oh no, we can't go to the
gym. That's awesome though, because I remember, I think my first comps were with you. One of my first comps was with you. We did, what was it?
I think it was Strongest, something like that.
Yeah, Preston Strongest in 2021 we did that?
I think 21, yeah. Yeah.
And that's the first time we met, wasn't it? And you were just so far ahead of me. I was like, oh shit. You probably took me under your wing and I was like, yeah.
We had a lot of fun and it was a great comp. And then, look how far you've come since then.
Well, we both have. And you've just competed. Your last competition was Worlds, wasn't it? You've just been at OSG Worlds.
Well, my last competition was actually the Chaos Christmas team comp.
Oh, sorry, I forgot all about that.
You forgot about that because your Team Chaos, what do you call yourself? Team Carnage wasn't there.
Team Car Crash, yeah. No, Team Car Crash couldn't make it this year. We couldn't make it. We were both too broken.
Yeah, I pulled a 250 deadlift and that's all I wanted for Christmas. So
that's unbelievable.
That. And then, because obviously, even though I did OSG, which was an amazing experience, but because I came 4th, I'm going to be like, ugh. Because I came 4th at Europe's as well. So I'm like,
That's
right.
not a bad placing.
It's not a bad placing, but it was the same at Europe's as it was. That I was in podium position for most of the comp, and then I just decided to start being crap. Like panic. Like, oh
Was that
shit.
I was gonna
Oh
say,
my god, I might win. Then panic.
was that a conscious decision? I'm doing a bit too well here. I need to stop.
What's this? This isn't me. Come on, stop being crap again. But
Oh,
no, so I felt like I let myself down a little bit, so I wanted to prove something to myself.
right. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I feel like it's hard, isn't it? Because I think fourth, for an outside perspective, is really, really good. But we've been doing it a similar time, and like
Mm.
we both have goals for ourselves, don't we? And I think when you don't hit what you expect to hit on those big competitions like OSG Worlds and Europes, it can be a little bit trickier, can't it?
It can, but then obviously, like when I look at myself, like when we first met, I never would have thought that I'd be in that position ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never imagined it. But then when you're in it, you start to ask more of yourself, don't you? And then when you don't reach that, you're like, oh. But I am trying to work on celebrating what I've achieved rather than thinking what I haven't done yet.
Good.
But I think we all struggle with that, don't we?
100%. It's where it sort of makes out of what we are, because we are athletes and we are wanting to push forward, and I think that's why we do well, if that makes sense.
Mm.
It's those personality types where you're never quite content with how well you're doing, which always
No,
pushes you forward, and it's a blessing and a curse, isn't it, where you think, oh, I can keep pushing, but also you almost forget how far you've come a lot of the time.
you do, and it. Sometimes you need somebody who doesn't do the sport to be like, oh my god, look at that, as if you do that, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. I do actually. No, I totally agree. So let's get into. I haven't even asked you an actual question from the
oh,
things I
that's
sent
right.
you.
Sorry, I am a bit of a chatter.
No, me too. And I'm too busy stuttering away. I'm on a bit of a. I don't even know where my brain is. It's probably bounced straight out my head. But anyway, we'll get on to the meat and potatoes of this interview. So
Absolutely.
my first question to you is: what has been your strong woman high?
So I was thinking about this. I think it would be very easy for me to say that my strong woman high is a certain particular lifts. So, like the first time I pulled 200 deadlift raw, that was a big day, but
Yeah.
it was really exciting. But then the rest of the comp was shit because I just went, oh my god. And then when I pulled 250 the other week, that was amazing again. And like ticking those boxes, it's never, when I look at strong woman highs, it's never a particular lift. Like this year, I've done things that I never thought I would do. Like I won an event at Worlds, won the log, like me winning the log, like who even am I now? And then I came joint first on the dumbbell at Europe. So like suddenly, I'm okay at overhead pressing. Like that is a good high for me because to me it represents progress.
Yeah.
But I think really every time I think about what I love about the sport and what are the things I think, yeah, you should do the sport because of this, it's always about doing comps with certain people and the feeling that you have with your friends around you and like a community and just like a family of people that are just cheering for you. And half of them only learnt your name just 10 minutes ago, but they're cheering for you and like going to comps like OSG and seeing people that you've only seen maybe once a year and getting
Yeah.
all being so excited for each other. Like the feeling that you get when you're at those competitions, that is the high, really. That's why you do it. Because you're in that environment and you're around people that love you and support you and really want you to do well, but they're also pushing you. And it's just an environment that you can't really explain until you're in it. But they're the feelings that when I think about Strongman and what I love about it, it's always that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I love that. I absolutely love that, because I do agree. Like it's easy to say that a certain lift or a certain event is your high, and I think it's interesting. This is why I've set these questions out this way, so that we can get other people's ideas of what they think their high is, and I think it'll be interesting, especially with people who've just started strongman to people who've done it for a long time. And I do agree, because this is one of my highs as well, is the environment, comp environment,
Yeah, yeah.
because it is just a chance to see all your mates, and at the end of the day, we're all just doing this like for a hobby. We're all just doing this as a group of mates to hang out,
Absolutely. I
aren't
don't make
we?
any money out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
fun.
So if you're
Fun
not
to be saying
enjoying
this.
it, what's the fucking point?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's the feeling. And even when I'm like working at comps, being my comp mum, as they call me, like that's a big high for me because I get to see everybody like succeeding. And also, I love a list, so I get to be in charge of a list, which I love.
Yeah, fair.
I just love like being that person that they trust and then they come to, and that's a big high for me to
Yeah.
see people succeed and all of it. Sounds really geeky, but obviously I work in social care, so seeing people do well and helping people get the best out of themselves is like a big part of what I do all the time. So
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think some of the most fun I've had at comps has been when I've not actually been competing myself and I've been there just supporting or doing a job. And I do think that's a big part of strongman, isn't it? Is if you enjoy
yeah,
just being at comps, then this is the place for you because that's the most fun part, isn't it?
yeah, it is. I will say like loading at comps is fun and absolutely more tiring than competing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Fair play to anyone who loads at comps because that is
And then everybody's
hard
watching you.
graft.
And
Yeah,
they've all done like a 70 kilo sandbag. You're like, oh, that's not heavy. And you're like, oh God, well, watch me. What if I can't pick up? I'm knackered.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
with
No,
loads doing?
I totally agree. Some of the loading jobs I've done, I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I've been my strongest, I think, on the days that I've helped load.
Same. I'm like, oh, PB.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, amazing. I love that. Right, so if we're moving on then, we'll quickly because I'll come back to a few things that you've said as well. So
Yeah.
if that's your strong woman high, what's been your strong woman low?
So I had a really good year in 2021, which was like really my first year of competing because I did a little comp at the end of 2019 and then 2020 was a bit of a write-off. And then 2021 is when I really started doing more comps and I won some titles and Britain's strongest actual woman and stuff like that, which was great. And then towards just before Worlds in that year, I don't know, I just did twisted my knee and it took about 9 months, 10 months to get over it because they never really gave me any diagnosis for it. There was never anything. So it was just in pain all the time. And I did a lot of
Yeah.
comps in 2022 where I just did really shit. And I just, everything I went to, I was just shit. Couldn't do anything, couldn't push through my foot. Jenny was trying to help me do these bloody, the Dinny Stone pickup at
Oh
the
yeah.
qualifier for bloody Glenn's comp. And she's like, are you all right? I'm like, no. I can't push my
Yeah.
foot on the floor. And it was just really frustrating. It was real low. And then I did my favourite person in the world, Glenn Ross's comp, which was great. And I was dead excited to get the invite because, like, you think, oh, yeah, I get to wear this ridiculous bloody outfit and it's brilliant and I get to do this. And I was in pain all the time. I couldn't even walk up the stairs and I did shit and I let myself down. And then, obviously, there's a lot of things about that comp which were shit anyway.
It was a
And
hard
that
comp
just,
that one.
yeah, that was a real low for me all that year. And then leading on from that, and like, for me, because I work, as I've mentioned, I work in social care. I'm really passionate about empowering people, seeing people do the best that they can possibly do, and helping people achieve their goals. And I think we all know, for women in the sport, it's difficult in all sports for women to get recognition as an equal draw as the men, having just as much value as men in the sport. And to be at that day at Glenn's Comp and competing with a bunch of women that I really respected, and it was everyone there was an amazing athlete. I thought it was a really good environment in terms of the competitors. But then the talk afterwards about how women don't deserve to be in that top billing. Women don't deserve. They don't bring in the crowds. They don't bring in the draw. And then when you call someone out on that and then get blacklisted, I'm like, that's quite a low.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll give you that.
It's the one that's like lots of us are quite passionate about women's sports because we do women's sports.
Yeah.
We all work really hard and we see how hard people work and we know what we put into it. And we don't put in any more or any less than the men competing. We're
No.
just not the same gender.
Yeah.
And to be told that actually you don't have as much value despite all the work you put in and all the amazing athletes we have and the things that the women in our sport can lift and do is amazing. To be told that, well, despite that, yeah, you're still not good enough because you don't have a penis. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
quite frustrating and to feel like you can't actually call that out without being, oh,
Yeah.
well, you can never do my comps again. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you fat fucker. Sorry.
No, well, I mean, I think we got blacklisted at the same time, to be honest, from that.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
I maybe lasted out a little bit longer because I got the invite to Bangor to the
Yeah.
Four Nations, but then I severely blacklisted myself after that one. But it was again the same things. I think the same things that had been brought up with that first England's that we did in 2022, where we'd sort of said we weren't being treated the same. And I think if you aren't aware of what happened in that 2022 England's, I don't know whether I've spoke about it on a podcast before. I probably have, but basically, from what I remember anyway, one, we got billed at being on at a different time. So the
Yeah.
tickets said something like it starts at 1 or something. And that was when the men started and we started at 11, didn't we? So no one was
Yeah, they
there.
didn't tell. They told hardly anybody that the women are going to be there, and like everyone we spoke to in the crowd was like, well, "If I'd known that you
Yeah,
women were, we would have come."
yeah, yeah. So that was I think our main sort of point that was a bit annoying. Um,
I
there
got
was
told
other
not to
stuff.
swear because ladies don't swear.
Yeah, we got
Fuck
told
off.
not to swear. We got our big meeting in the morning, didn't we? Where we got told if we behaved like divas, we would be cut out and told to leave
Yeah,
and all that sort of stuff,
they'll
which was
behave in
strange.
female ways.
Yeah, because none of us had said anything or done anything
No,
untoward or said anything like that. And yeah, we got that. I don't think the men got told that if they were divas, they wouldn't be allowed to compete. So
no.
that was another disparity there. Um, and there was quite a few things. I know that personally, my finishing point for ever working with Glen Ross and Ultimates was that when I'd called it out the second time when we'd gone to Bangor because we were being billed as a sideshow to the men,
Mm,
which just infuriated me because we're not a sideshow. We're on
no,
equal
no.
parts. I picked this up, spoke to them, told them that, and got told that we needed to be grateful for the men because they were the ones that were paving the way for us, that we had to be super happy that they would let us compete with them and compete side by side with them because they were the
Mm,
ones that everyone was coming to see. And that's the way that the women needed to be shown, just to sprinkle them in amongst the men so that they sort of don't realise that they're watching women and they might enjoy it. They might enjoy it. And if they do, then and you sell some tickets, then you can get ahead that way. And I thought for me personally, that's just not I'm not going to
that's
buy into
nice.
that. No, it's nonsense and it doesn't make sense. And a lot of the promotion felt like they were trying to blame us, blame just the
Mm,
fact that we were women as to why we
yeah,
couldn't sell tickets. There was actually no effort to promote women at all.
no,
So because there was no effort, there was obviously no ticket sales, but they were just blaming that on the fact that we were women, not because they couldn't do their jobs.
no, exactly, exactly. And it was a frustrating time because obviously when I did that comp, I underperformed because I just wasn't. I was just in pain, and that was on me. But I think that doesn't mean that you get to then say you're not welcome at my comps again because, and I know that because he would have invited me because he sent me a message, saw some, before I read it, he obviously read something else that I put in a different chat and he deleted the message and then ignored me.
Yeah, unfortunately it's very fickle still, isn't it? And I think that's
Mm,
representative of where strongman is at the moment as well. It's still a very small niche sport, isn't it? And
it is.
unfortunately, you've got these big older guys who've been in it for a long time and they've built up these companies and they're not willing to change or move forward with the times or
No.
do any extra work because if they've got something that works, so they don't want to change it or fix it, do they?
Well, exactly. But I do think moving on from that year, things have got better. Not
Yeah.
with Glenn, will never change.
No.
But you've got options now.
Yeah, 100%. I do think it's pushing forward, and I think a lot of the promoters that are similar to Glenn and others are realizing that the women won't compete under those circumstances anymore, and we won't put up
Mm,
with being spoken to like we're second-class citizens. So I think realistically, what I think and I expected to happen was that these promoters will die out eventually, and we'll be on
yeah,
to bigger
exactly.
and better things. And I think as well, because you're part of a promotion that is athlete focused and doesn't even question that there's a disparity between men and women with chaos,
Mm,
I think that's you're almost so much further forward, aren't you,
yeah,
than these promoters. So
yeah, definitely. And there are a lot of really good promoters now.
yeah,
And we
Oh,
just got to keep
100%.
thinking about our choices, really. And now I'm
Yeah.
not in pain anymore, so let's go.
And how did you sort your knee out then? For anyone going through anything like injury wise, what did you find that was really helpful with that?
The main thing was to stop. Basically, I felt like if I just carried on and pushed through, and because I didn't want to miss out on a lot of comps, because I just started going up to the next level, and I didn't want to miss out. I thought if my face wasn't there, then they were never going to ask me again. But then I did shit anyway, so they weren't going to ask me because I couldn't fucking walk. But what I did was I took full 8 weeks off any kind of training other than just rehab.
Wow.
Cancelled. I deferred my place at Worlds for that year. Just shut it all off, and it's like, you're gonna make yourself have to quit the sport if you don't stop and
Yeah.
just do rehab only, like nothing else. It's
Yeah.
only 8 weeks. There's nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I had all these scans. I had all these different things, and they just said it was like, I think they said it like bursitis or something like that, just like an inflammation. But then I
Yeah.
had a lot of work to try and figure out where the actual pain was coming from. So I think they figured out a lot of it wasn't really my knee; it was my hips.
Right.
So we're doing a lot of sort of stability work, building up hip strength, and then that sort of helped. Taking, I went through every night. I'd put, like ibuprofen gel on my knee, and then
Yeah.
wrap it in a bandage overnight, and then put ice on it, just because it was swelling all the time.
Yeah.
And I got a little routine of it was ice it for half an hour, and then put the gel in it, and then wrap it every single night, just to try and
Nice.
control the swelling, because I couldn't move it and rehab it properly if the swelling wasn't coming down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried a few different things, and eventually we got there. And it still can flare up a bit, but my coach Dan now is very rehabby focused.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of work on keeping my hips, because obviously super heavy yoke at Worlds just gone. Hips were a little bit backwards, so we're
Yeah.
doing a lot to try and sort of fix that again. Just keeping on top of it rather than just ignoring it and hoping it'll
Yeah.
go away.
Good advice that for any injury, I think. Very good advice. Yeah. I think sometimes
It's
you've got to
still
take a step back to step forward.
Yeah, you do. And it was hard because you think you just got to keep pushing forward all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
I think, oh, if I take the time off, I'll never get back. But I think as long as you have a goal, and I don't know, maybe I hadn't always realised I've got such a forward-thinking mindset. I was like, well, at the moment I'm not doing it, but actually I'm very much like, I need to think about this. I want to, and I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to carry on doing this. And it didn't
Yeah.
occur to me for a minute to stop doing strongwoman. I just thought, what can I do to keep doing it?
Yeah.
And that was all it was.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like even when we were competing against each other in 2022, I know you had a bad year and it was hard work, a lot of them comps for you, but I remember thinking like that you were so positive about staying in Strong Woman, and you were so like there was no, oh, this is going to be the last of it for me. Like it was almost like you were desperately trying to find ways to continue in this sport.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't quite get there. And then when you came back in 2023, it was like a different person, like a completely
Yeah.
different person.
I needed to just reset myself. And I've
Yeah.
done a lot of mindset work since then as well with Alex Alexa, and
Oh, yeah.
trying to that's done me a lot of good. Like to
Yeah.
really like think about the big picture a bit more.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. She's really good. I did her when she first started doing it's Optima Performance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did her first like free course, and it was really good. She's really, really clever. So bit of a
Yeah,
plug for
really,
you
really
there.
good. Really good. Little plug. She's really, really made a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So one of my questions, what would you like to tell your past self when you first started Strong Woman?
See, the thing is, I think I don't remember ever starting Strong Woman. It just sort of happened.
It was a whirlwind.
I don't remember thinking I'm going to do Strong Woman now. Before I knew it, I was signed up to a comp. Reed just signed me up for it without asking.
Quality.
It's like, you're a strong woman now. I'm like, okay. I think for me, because I'm not a sporty person at all. Like I never have been. When it comes to like sports. A lot of people have done like a lot of people do roller derby. That's quite a common one in this city, isn't it? And I know
Yeah.
a few people and doing things like rugby and football, and I'm absolutely bullshit at sport. Honestly, it's fucking awful. My hand-eye coordination is a joke. I'm absolutely awful at sports. I'm not trying to like do myself down. I'm really bad.
No, I'm pretty same, to be fair. So
Can't catch a ball to my fucking life.
no.
Absolutely terrible at sports. So when I was at school, I was never, obviously, never picked for any teams, which I can't say I blame them. Honestly, I wouldn't have picked me either. It's fucking terrible. So I spent all of my 20s just like doing exercise to be skinny, and I never thought of myself as somebody that could compete in a sport in any way, shape, or form. Never imagined it ever, ever, ever. So when I started doing this, it sort of gradually became a thing. Before I knew it, I was like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. I think so. Looking back, I think what I might have said to myself was take time to enjoy it more, and sit back every single step along the way and congratulate yourself on what you're doing. And it's
Nice.
not just the numbers, it's not just the comps, it's the dedication that you put into it. Not everybody can do that, because I just do my daily routine. I think nothing of it. Well, I'll get up at 6 with the kid, get him ready for school, take him to school, go to work, finish my work day, pick him up, make tea for everybody, go to the gym, get home at 11 o'clock at night and do it all again the next day.
Yeah.
And that's normal to me, but I don't recognise that not everybody does that.
No.
So I need
No.
to sit back and congratulate myself on my determination and
Yeah.
resilience, and think actually you can do it. And don't forget to congratulate yourself. It sounds really like egotistical, but it's not.
No.
That's not what it is at all.
No. I love that. I think that's a really really good point to make, because it circles back to what we were saying at the beginning, where you're constantly looking for the next thing. You don't stand and appreciate what you've already done.
No, you don't. So when I talk to people at work just to just go to the gym, like not like most people do,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, well, you can deadlift that. I can't deadlift that. I'm like, but
Yeah. Cool.
but I don't think anything of it until you have those conversations with other people where you're just going through this mad life, which is really bizarre, really, when you think about it.
Yeah,
Like
super
it's
bizarre.
so bizarre. And I never thought I'd be able to travel to all the places that I travel
Yeah.
to compete in a sport. I thought if I was going to travel, it'd just be going on a little shagging tour. I didn't think I'd be like competing.
Yeah.
I'm not really like. I mean, those days are over for me now. I'm too old, but I'm not, I didn't think I'd be travelling to compete in the sport. I never thought that would be me.
Yeah.
So to look back on that and think, fucking hell, yeah, look what you've done, and look what you've done for other people as well, to support them in the sport, because people come to me all the time and say thank you for helping me, and that means a lot to me, more than a lot of the other stuff, because I know how scary it is to stand there in your first comp. It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying. I vividly remember that Preston's when we were there, and I think we were talking about, like, you guys were talking about nail varnish or something, and I was stood in the corner,
Sounds
like,
about
because
right.
I didn't know anybody, and it was you and like Naomi Hadley and Molly, and I think you already knew each other, and I was stood in the corner like, oh my god, this is so uncomfortable, and you all started talking about nail varnish, and I was like, oh, my nails are painted too. Can I join in? And you were like, oh yeah, nail varnish is so nice. That's really cool. And then you were
It
like
is.
telling me how to do the
It
telling me how to do the dumbbell and stuff like that, because I'd never done a dumbbell, and I was like, oh my god, this is like, I can't believe how like friendly all these people are being, and I don't know anybody. I've literally just come in as a no one. We're all competing, and everyone is like happy to openly talk and do that. And you were one of the first people within this sport that did that for me. So yeah, I'll say thanks to you, because I
Oh,
fucking love it. You're my strongman
I'm
mum.
always I am such a mum, but I'm always that person in the corner. Like when I don't know anybody, I'm like, oh god, and I know what it feels like. It's horrible.
But it's
So I
lovely
don't want
that
anybody to feel like that.
yeah, it's lovely that you have seen that in yourself, but don't let this sport, you don't let those people have that in this sport. Like, you're the one person in this sport that goes, oh, I'd have been awkward if I was stood there too, so I'll go and talk to them. I'll go and join them in
Yeah,
this conversation. I'll go and do that, because that's what this sport needs. It needs people that do that.
because you do. Because I found it that I've I've spent a lot of like as you're going through the ranks, as it were, in the strong woman. I've found certain people treat you differently than others, and that's just human nature. That's life, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
anybody that you encounter anywhere. But I really determined, and I've thought this from the start. And I'd go back and tell myself this as well, just to keep doing it and just not change who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Because just because you can deadlift 250 kilo don't make you better than somebody that can deadlift 100. I mean, you're a better
Yeah.
person. You just got stronger legs.
Yeah, yeah, 100%,
Now,
100%. It's totally true, and I think Rosie Abercrombie had done a podcast the other day where she'd said, like, where you don't really pay attention to what people lift, but you do pay attention to how people treat you. And
yeah, you
like,
do.
a lot of this sport is, I don't really remember or care about what people did at comps or where they came or how they did, but I remember how they treated me when I was at that comp with them.
Yeah, 100%. I always remember, like, because obviously this year, I say this year, it's last year now, isn't it? 2024.
Technically, yeah.
2024 was my second Worlds. And I remember vividly the people that I spoke to and had a laugh with in my first Worlds. And they remember me.
Yeah.
And like, you sort of gravitate towards each other because you're like, oh, you're a good person. You're friendly.
Yeah.
You're nice. I remember your face. We'll have a laugh.
Yeah,
Because it is meant to be
100%.
fun still. Like, I'm focused, but I'm also not. I'm also remembering that I've paid good money for this. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Paid a lot of money for
100%.
this.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Right, so moving on then, because now we want to move on to our silly goose.
Silly goose. It's silly goose time, where our lips get loose and our minds run free. Silly goose. It's silly goose time, where we chat a load of shit that's of absolutely no use. It's silly goose time.
So first off, do you have a silly goose for me?
No, because I decided, New Year, let's risk it and let Becca choose it.
Perfect. Well, I have
Roll
one.
that dice.
I have one ready, coming
Oh,
straight
God.
fresh from Instagram Reels last night. So imagine we were in the 1800s now instead.
Putting a bonnet on. I'm ready.
What job would you have and why?
So I love period drama.
Ooh.
I do love it. I'm a bit of a book geek. I love all that sort of like.
Ooh, Downton Abbey vibes.
Like the Brontes and all that sort of thing.
Ooh.
And so I always imagine, given that when I think about, I did a little bit of in lockdown, everyone went on ancestry.com.
Yeah.
Basically, if you ask any of my family history, I'd have definitely been a farmer. But some farmer, right? Don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to be a farmer. I want to be something a bit cooler, like like in Bridgerton.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that woman that makes the dresses and gets all the gossip.
Ooh, I know exactly who you mean.
She knows everything.
Yeah, a seamstress.
Yes, even though I can't sew to save my fucking life.
Yeah, but you'd have more time back then. You would have been able to work it out.
True, because I don't want to be one of the posh ones. I don't want to be a landowner. I don't want to be one of them in the mansions.
Be too easy, that.
Be too easy. No, I want it. And plus, you want to be like with the normal people on the street, shitting in the street, and
just throwing buckets of slop around. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Well,
a seamstress, but also a top gossiper.
Top gossiper. Sounds like I love gossip. I do enjoy gossip. I don't like spreading it, but I like to know it.
Yes, absolutely same. I agree. I am a top gossiper. I love gossip.
Just tell me. I won't tell anybody, but I just want to know.
No, I can't even promise that I won't tell anybody. Sometimes I do, unless it's real serious, then I promise I won't. But most of the time I'll tell everybody. If you want something spread.
Funny. If it's something funny, then.
If it's hilarious, it's getting spread regardless. No, totally agree. Oh, right, interesting. So seamstress and gossiper. I like that. Yeah. I think I would be a gravedigger.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I really like because I've read a book about like true crime and medical history and all that kind of stuff. I read a book about somebody who did Joseph Lister, who did like the first anaesthetics.
Right.
And there's a bit in there about how he got gravediggers to get bodies for him to experiment on and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Do
the
that.
sort of job I would have. Yeah, 100%. Up to feral no goodery-ness.
Absolutely. And then what if you dig up one that's older than you thought and it's dead stinky and horrible and
This wouldn't
do you
bother
reckon you
me.
can handle it?
Yeah, couldn't give a
Rotten
fuck.
bodies.
I'd just be like, well, on to the next one.
Move on.
I think the only thing that would stop me would be that I'm just don't really like digging. Like, I don't mind digging, but it's not my
On the
favourite
shoulders,
job.
Yeah, it's not the
It's
best.
hard work, yeah. Me and Ben used to do a lot of digging when we did a lot of like pest control work. We go and like dig for rabbits and stuff. And he digs like a fucking badger. I've never seen anything like it. That man can dig. You like dig me a 6 foot hole, give him an hour, go back and it'd be done. He's
So what you're
insane.
saying is, when I need to get rid of a body, ask Ben.
Yeah.
Dig me a hole quick.
If you need a hole digging fast, he's your man.
Noted.
But yeah, no, I think that's what I think I'd be a grave or I'd be a healer. But the only problem I feel like with healer is that I'm a bit like I'd be one of them that would be like, "Ooh, try this, try that," and then I'd be done for being a witch.
Then you'd need your husband Ben to dig that hole nice and quick for you.
I'd be accidentally killing people, getting him to dig holes, then I'd be fucking burnt at the stake for being a witch, wouldn't I? And I'd be like, "No."
I think realistically, all of us in this sport would have been burnt at the stake as witches.
Probably. We've had a full podcast being like, yeah, women need rights too. All just get burnt at the stake.
No, women's rights means you're all going to die.
The only thing about women's rights is that I hate the fact they made the right to vote to work. Whose idea was that? I'd like to go back to a time when none of us had to work. That would be ideal.
Oh, I hate work.
I'm too precious to work.
Absolutely crap in it.
Being an adult is shit in it.
You know, every time mortgage comes out of my bank, I'm like, fuck this.
Just awful, isn't it? Just everything about being an adult is the pure worst, apart from the fact that we have adult money to spend on silly, childish things.
Yeah, that is true.
And
I need to spend money on more childish things because I was a knobhead in America and I was a bit hungover because we were flying back early on the Monday after the after party, and I just didn't even consider what was in my hand luggage. And in my hand luggage was all my tacky and liquid chalk, and I was like, fucking hell. So we got rid of it all at the airport.
Oh no. Right, well, sponsorship, come on, reach out to Andrea, get it sorted out. Needs a full new all liquid strongman things, please.
All liquid. Thank you.
Perfect. Well,
I was so mad.
I can imagine that was bad planning on your part, really, wasn't it?
Going out with bad planning on my part, really.
Right. So, final thoughts then. What's happening next year? What are your plans and your goals for next year?
So I am doing England's Strongest Woman Opens in February.
Vying for the Giants live spot. I like it.
Trying. I'm just going to try and push myself a little bit.
Nice.
I'm going to do it. I'm also doing a grip comp in a couple of weeks because on the wrecking ball, I felt I didn't do what I wanted to do on the wrecking ball at Worlds, and I wanted to sort of prove to myself I've got good grip. So I'm going to do a grip comp and just have a bit of a laugh.
No.
So other than that, like I got the invite for Arnold Masters, but honestly, I can't afford to go back to America in March. I just can't afford it. I can't do it. It's not just that; it's pay. I'd have to buy some time off work, and it's just crap. I can't do it.
Yeah,
which is shit because the events are really good. But it is what it is. So other than that, I'm just sort of going to roll the dice. So if I get Giants Live invite, I'm going to do that.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I'll do Europe's again. I'm not 100% sure, but having come so close to the podium, I don't want to like.
Yeah, you need to give that another go, don't you?
It's the same with Worlds as well because it was so close, and I'll have my invite from coming top 10. So
yeah,
and despite all the niggles who always are at OSG, I always have a really good time.
Yeah,
so 100%. Yeah.
I think it can get a lot of slack, like shit OSG, can't it? Like everyone gives it a lot of like shit, but we all hold it to the highest standard of competing, regardless. It doesn't matter what they do. They could tell us all it was going to cost us 500 quid to enter, and we'd all still fucking do it anyway.
At the end of the day, when you're that big of a comp and you're at that high of a level, you open yourself up to critique.
Yeah,
and there absolutely should be critique.
Yeah.
because we're the ones paying to be there.
And that's how it grows.
Exactly. And I don't think there's ever any issue with them being critiqued.
No.
I mean, I'm sure some things they don't take very well, but...
No, I think a lot of it, though, is said in constructive criticism where there's not a lot of people just slinging shit at them, is there? Like, a lot of people who have things to say them for a reason, and they have good intentions behind them, not... We all want OSG to be as good as possible. None of us want it to fail. Like, everyone wants it to continue on its path of greatness. Like,
Absolutely.
No one's out here trying to pull it down, so...
What I would really like, if you're listening, guys, is somewhere warm, please.
Bring it back to Daytona. There was nothing wrong. The only problem with Daytona was the fucking hurricane.
Well, that's inconvenient.
Yeah, that's inconvenient, but we can live with that. We managed it. Everyone managed it. Fine. Back to Daytona, please.
So 2025, gonna hopefully get on some podiums and win some titles, because I feel like I've been around, but still a lot of people don't really know my name or see me as a big competitor, which I need to push myself a bit more.
I think they do already, but I get where you're coming from.
Because obviously I'm with a new coach now, who I've been with since the summer, which is just sort of shakes you up a bit, doesn't it? It just gives you a bit of a refresh.
Yeah,
put things in a different direction. So I want to carry on with him for a while and just keep the positivity rolling.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds like a great plan. Well, I can't wait to see you out competing this year. It will be very exciting. Where can people find you if they want to find you? On Instagram, on wherever?
I'm not very good at social media. Maxine says she's going to help me with social media.
Perfect.
So yeah, my Instagram is at Andrea Seed Strong Woman.
Nice.
I've got Facebook, but I don't put anything on it, so I wouldn't bother looking for me.
Fair.
I've got TikTok, which I think is Andrea Seed Strong Woman as well.
Lovely. Well, I'll tag it in the show notes. If you want to follow Andrea, then you can follow her on Instagram or on TikTok. And yeah, any final words for the podcasting fans?
Just really appreciate you having me on, and I've had a really, really fun time. It's distracted me from boring work, and it's been really, 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 really good. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see who else you have on and hear all your other Strong Woman highs.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you for being one of our first guests on the new format as well. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's all from us. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Strong Woman Highs, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the podcast, then please give us a follow on Instagram. Or if you would like, we're also on buymeacoffee.com/strongwomanhighs. This is where you can send us tips, or you can also join our membership area, which is $5 a month or £4 a month. It's the silly gosling level. We'll post out any extra content that we get on there, and hopefully a few little free giveaways of things as well. The podcast currently doesn't cost a lot to run, which is what we're trying to keep it as. But we would like to be able to cover our costs, and also once those costs are covered, any profit that is made on Strong Woman Highs will be getting saved up and put into a pot for future Strong Woman competitions that we can sponsor. So if you have a Strong Woman competition that you'd like to be sponsored, or if you want to be on the podcast, then give us a shout, send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube, anywhere else you can get us, and we'll get it sorted, because the more women that we can get on, the better. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye!